The Dark Horse style rear spoiler is the perfect choice for any 2015 to 2023 Mustang owner who wants to enhance their car's good looks and aerodynamic capabilities. Featuring OEM style fitment and construction plus an affordable price, it's a great way to get some of that modern updated Dark Horse styling on your S550. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you will agree with me, but I personally am a big fan of an OEM Plus type of upgrade. Something that didn't come on your car from the factory, but looks like it could have. And that's exactly what this spoiler sets out to accomplish. This is essentially an exact replica of the OEM spoiler you'd find on a Dark Horse S650. Only difference here is that it's designed to fit your S550 Mustang. So if you like those newer Dark Horse models but you don't want to shell out all that money for a new car, this spoiler is a great way to get the look for pennies on the dollar. It's an awesome OEM Plus model that looks right at home in your car, but the keen-eyed enthusiast among you will spot it right away. Now this one in particular is finished in glossy black, so it will look good on pretty much any car. If you're after the contrast or you've got a blacked out car already, this is definitely going to fit the bill. And because of the material, you can always paint it to suit your taste if you want to go down that route. However, a spoiler isn't just about looks, especially not one that was originally engineered for a performance-oriented car like the Dark Horse. This is designed to improve aerodynamics with the included gurney flap by adding downforce to the rear of the car at higher speeds, where and when it really matters. So if you are hitting the track, this is going to help add some downforce at higher speeds and thus give you some more rear end grip by forcing that airflow up and creating that downward force that will better keep the car glued to the pavement. Construction here is also very similar to a factory Ford part. It's comprised entirely of UV-resistant ABS plastic. Now, ABS is widely used in the automotive realm because it's known for its lightweight and impact resistance. So that means this is strong enough to withstand the forces that are exerted on it, but it should still last you a long time. As we mentioned, this one in particular is finished in gloss black, so you can mount this out of the box exactly as it comes. However, since it is ABS plastic underneath, you can always repaint it, you can wrap it, or customize it in some other way to suit your build and tastes. Pricing is the one way in which this really differs from the factory part. This one's gonna run you about $350, and that is literally a fraction of the price as compared to the equivalent factory piece from Ford. And since you can't really just walk into your Ford dealer and ask them to mount their Dark Horse spoiler on your S550, this is about the only way to do it easily and for not a lot of money. And you're getting improved aerodynamics and looks for that not a lot of money too, so it's hard to argue with. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around an hour or so to complete. Now, if your car already has a spoiler from the factory, your job is going to be a little bit easier because you can just bolt this right on. However, if your car does not have a factory spoiler, you are obviously going to need to drill a few holes in order to get that mounted. And of course, there is some assembly required. However, everything you need to get it installed does come included in the box. We're going to walk you through the installation process right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a Phillips head screwdriver, a clip remover tool, a magnet, 4mm Allen wrench, an extension, and 10mm sockets and swivel sockets. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a spoiler on our Mustang, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is remove this trunk liner. We can pop this plastic piece off. We're gonna twist out these two rubber plugs and then just take a clip remover tool to pop out all these clips. So for this one, you can just get behind it, pop it right off. These two are gonna be screws. And then just grab your clip remover tool and pop all these out. And then just fish out your release cable and pull that out. And then on the outside of our trunk, on each side, we have this grommet that you can pull out, and that'll expose a 10mm nut. And now grab a 10mm socket and extension to remove that nut. Once you have it loosened up, I'm gonna tilt the trunk down to remove it so that we don't drop that nut in there. And then just carefully remove that nut. And then in the center, we have two more 10mm nuts. So I'm just gonna loosen these up so that I can spin them off by hand while getting a hand on our factory lip here so that it doesn't fall off. Thread it the rest of the way off, make sure you don't drop it. And then just got a hand on it on the other side. And then we'll fold our trunk down and pop it off. Now there is some double-sided tape from the factory holding this on. Ours has been on and off so many times that it's not really holding anymore. But you can take a plastic pry tool and just work from the edges, just picking it up to release that double-sided tape. And then you can just pop it up and remove it. And now once you have that off, just take some detail spray or some kind of cleaner just to clean off all the crap that sits underneath of it. And then we can move on to assembling our new spoiler. So now we can start assembling our new spoiler. I'm gonna start with this center section here. We've got this long slot that we need to fish a bolt through to thread into these 4 threaded holes. So I'm just gonna lay that down on top. Now we have a 10mm bolt that also has a Phillips head slot. So if you have a magnetic screwdriver, that's gonna be a good way to do this. If you don't, you can take a piece of paper or paper towel. I'm using the backing of double-sided tape here, just because I had it available. You can take your 10mm socket, put it in there, and then shove your bolt in, and that'll help hold it. And then you can just go down into that hole, line it up and thread it in. And then just do that 3 more times. Now that time it fell off, so if it does that, you just gotta flip this over and then try it again. It might take you a few times. Now next up in the bag of tricks is using a piece of tape here. Same idea as that double-sided tape backing I used earlier. Slide that in and get it lined up with your hole. Thread it in. And then do the same thing on the other side, and we'll go back and tighten those down. And then take your 10mm socket and an extension on a ratchet and tighten those down. Now you're going into plastic, so don't go crazy with tightening. So now we can install our end pieces. Now these are stamped with an R. This side of the wing stamped with an R, and this piece is stamped with an R, so you know which side you're going with. So we're gonna line that up, slide one of our screws in, take a Phillips head screwdriver and start threading it. And then we'll grab a second one. And then once we have that done, we have a cover plate that's gonna go here to cover that up. So I'm just gonna take some double-sided tape, grab some scissors, cut a piece off. We have a good spot here. I'm just gonna put one there, one here, and a smaller one up top, and then we can stick that down. And we'll just pick up that backing. And slide it into the corner first. Get it all lined up, stick that down. And then we'll grab our second piece of that. That's gonna sit up here. Now once again, you've got those recessed holes, so you're gonna have to be careful with this one. I'm gonna take the screwdriver with a magnet here, to get it to stick a little bit. Thread that in, and we'll just do that a couple more times here. And once again, if you drop it in, flip it over, give it a shake to get that bolt to come out. Now I'm gonna try just to have the bolt on the magnet and get my thread started that way. And that's not working too well, so it looks like we're gonna have to go back to this. And once I have all 3 of those in, we have another cover plate for here. So we'll go back to the double-sided tape, get a couple strips. And once again, just line it up, stick it down, and then you can repeat that process on the other side. And then lastly, for the assembly of this, we have our little wicker bill for the back. Now we have different hardware for this. It's going to be an Allen bolt, and they're black so that they stay more hidden. So we're just going to take a 4mm Allen wrench, just start threading them in, don't tighten them down until you have all of them in. And once you have all 4 in, you can fully tighten them down. Now before we get our spoiler mounted onto the trunk, we are going to have to drill out an existing hole in the trunk. Now this one right here is our factory hole that we had the nut that we removed from in our factory lip. This one over here is for a clip in the factory lip. Now our second bolt on our spoiler does line up with it, but you're going to have to drill it all the way through the trunk so that you have an access hole to get to it. So we're going to grab a drill, we're going to drill through the back side of the trunk under here, and then from this side you'll want to take a bigger drill bit that you can get that bolt to go through, and that way you can tighten this down. Now for demonstration purposes, we're not going to be drilling through our trunk, but for you at home, we'll grab the drill bits and show you how it's done. So now to drill your pilot hole, I've got a 7/32" drill bit. You're just going to go right down through that hole, make sure you're nice and straight, and then you can drill your hole into your trunk. And then once you get through your trunk, your drill bit's going to come out right in this area. So at that point, once your pilot hole is drilled, you can switch to around a 3/4" drill bit to open up that hole. You want something bigger like this so that you can fit your screwdriver or socket and your bolt through. Now, if your Mustang didn't come with a factory lip and you don't have any holes in your trunk to begin with, you can use this tool right here. We've got a little nub that's going to sit inside of the bolt hole here. Now it's offset, so if you put it this way, it's going to be pretty much flush with that. You want it the other way so that's sticking out on both sides. You're going to put these into all the holes here, just like that. And then use a small piece of tape to just hold it to the spoiler here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get it on the trunk. You're going to line it up as best you'd like it. Once you have it in a good spot, take some painter's tape and tape down the sides that are sticking out on both sides. Then you're going to carefully lift up your spoiler so that you don't move these alignment tools here. And then what that's going to do is give you a hole here where you can get a really small drill bit in there to drill your pilot hole, and you'll have it aligned perfectly to how you had it. At that point, you'll just follow those same steps of opening up that hole enough to where the bolt fits through. And then on the other side of your trunk, you'll drill your bigger access hole so that you can get your tool in there to tighten it down. So now we're ready to get this spoiler bolted up to our trunk. I've got my buddy here just to help me support the wing on the other side while I get these first 2 bolts in the center installed. Just come down a little bit. And now we can get our outside holes. Now, once again, for demonstration purposes, we didn't drill through the trunk here, but you'll have another hole right about here that you'll need to do another bolt for. So once again, I'm going to do the screwdriver with the magnet. Make sure that's on there. And then just slide the magnet down far enough to get it in. Line up your hole. And thread your bolt in. And then do the same thing for your hole that you drilled and repeat the process on the other side. And then we'll go back and fully tighten everything down. So now we can go back and tighten everything down. I'm going to start in the middle here. I've got a 10mm swivel socket because I can't really get on there straight. And then I'm just gonna switch to a regular socket for the outside ones since I can get on those straight. And then do the same thing on the other side and for that other hole as well. So now we can just reinstall that carpet onto our trunk. Slide your release cable in first. And then I'm gonna get those rubber screws. And then the cover for our latch. And then grab all your push clips and reinstall those. And lastly, reinstall your rubber plug on each side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Dark Horse style rear spoiler in glossy black for your 2015 to 23 Mustang Fastback. Thank you for watching, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.